paint and materials. Paint.
Tony, stop for a second. Wait. Everything went off. I don't even think people heard anything that we said. Like, I'm trying to see if they can see us now.
Okay, let me see.
I'm so sorry. It is like raining like crazy here, so my connection keeps going in and out. Anybody in this chat room, can you see us? Ashanti Queen, Leroy, DK Adwa, Solitude,
so they are saying,
Naya.
They are saying they
Theo,
can't.
I don't think they heard anything.
No, they say
I don't think they heard anything.
Yeah, they can't see or hear anything. So I think maybe go back and come back in, you know, because they can't see, they can't hear anything.
Yeah. Okay, let's try that. Wait, let me give it a quick second though and see if someone. I see. Yes. Oh, I got a yes. That means they can hear us and see us now.
You can see us
here. Yes. Oh, finally, guys. So sorry. It is raining like crazy here, so my network keeps going in and out. So we've been talking off and on, thinking you guys can hear us, and the broadcast must have went out. So it let me back in.
That's right. That's good.
Okay. So guys, we're gonna go ahead and start off from the beginning. I'm so sorry, Tony, to do this to you, but thank you for being cool about it. Okay, I'm here with Tony. His YouTube channel is called Forever Home. His company that he has in Ghana for real estate, construction, development, all things building is called Royal Consulting. Is that right? Royal Consulting, yeah?
Consulting Solutions, yeah.
Royal Consulting Solutions. And so today we're going to go ahead and start talking about, it's so funny to have to repeat this because everything kept going out. But today we're going to talk about building an average 3-bedroom home, how much that costs. The cost can range depending on the size of the home, where you're building it at, but we're trying to get an estimate to just get some idea of how much things cost. And we're also going to talk about strategies you can use in order to pay for these things, pay to build your home over time. So, Tony, so sorry, but I'm going to have to ask you to tell that story one more again.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you for having me on your platform. And I'm looking forward for today's discussion. And so I just want to give a backdrop how I came onto YouTube. So when I started building about 7.5 years ago, there was not a lot of people on YouTube, putting their homes, and that kind of stuff. So after some time, I decided to do that. So I was just posting the progress report without making any commentary or anything like that, until I got to finishing stage. That is where I felt like I've learned some few things. And so I decided to share, first I wanted to prove to myself if it's possible to build from outside, and also to share the knowledge and the skill that that was learned through the hard knocks of doing this thing. And so that is how I came about. But in the process, I was getting questions about building, all the challenges and stuff like that. So I reached out to my team and I said, look, hey, there's a good opportunity for us that we can help so many people who have some concerns, and so let's put something together. And we did with Royal Consulting Solutions. And we are helping people make those dreams become reality.
All right, that's perfect. That's a great introduction. Thank you so much for being patient with me. Okay, so go ahead and break down for us what it will cost us and how the process works for building a 3-bedroom home. And please tell us the average size that you're talking about for a 3-bedroom home, because average can mean different things depending on what part of the country of the US you come from.
So ideally, I'll skip this process and then I'll come back to the details. So ideally, you get your land, you've done all your registration, you have your title and that kind of stuff. And so you have your blueprint ready to go. So I'm going to give, so the quote, I'm going to use about 2,000 to 2,500 square footage, for that, so people can get a gauge. And so granted, every region is different. So I'm going to say, let's say you are building in Accra, this is the range you should be expecting. So 100 by 70 foot of land, fence wall with coping, expect about $8,000. So that would be about 7.5 to 8 feet height of fence wall, or that should be the range. If they're doing quality work. So this include labor and materials. So everything I'm giving you is labor and material, stuff like that. So then foundation to about 4 block level for 2,500 square foot home. Will be about 10K. That will also include some plumbing, some little bit plumbing in that quote. And then after that, you would do the oversight, which some people call it German concrete. So that's about 4 inch thick of concrete that you pour over, the foundation and stuff like that. So expect for that size about 5K. So labor and all the materials included here. Let's say you build to, lintel level, which it gets tricky because some will want 10 feet, some will want 12 feet high, and stuff like that. So that range should be different, but usually the block work, is very simple. It's just cement, sand, and then labor, water, and labor, right? So that is just straightforward and stuff like that. So the price might change a little bit. Plumbing for the whole house about 2K. So that would be including the first phase, second phase, and then the final phase. It might be a little bit. They might charge a little bit when they start putting the fixtures and stuff like that. Then the main gates, because usually people have the main big gate and then the smaller one on the side. The prices now is about $1,500 for both of them, if it's nothing so elaborate, because some of them have this, incredible designs and that kind of stuff. But for average size, main gate maybe 8 feet high, but maybe 12 feet wide.
So let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question about the gates. When you talk about the gates, are you talking about the gates that go like that connect to the brick fencing that you put around the perimeter of your property?
Correct. Okay. Correct. Yeah. And so, and I would tell people to start looking into like sliding gates, electronic gate, because there's great benefits to, for security, and also like they are very, very effective, right? Because sometimes when you come home and your security guard or the caretaker is asleep and you call them and they're not picking up, you just stop, right? So it's easier to just come on, you press your electronic button, the gate opens, and at least you are inside the house. So I think it's a benefit to that. Plastering for 2,000 square feet home, should be, about, it will be about 4.5K, or 4,000, and the plasters, you need plaster technicians, right? So that will not be the same guys that are building. You want some guys that come in there, the ratio of the sand to mortar is very good, and then they can make it smooth, right? So it looks like drywall, right? Because it's very good. So you want it to look like that, and because that will also help with painting and that kind of stuff. And then paint is tricky because they charge by sometimes the grade. The grade is important, right? Whether it's acrylic or non-acrylic and that kind of stuff. So that is a little bit tricky, but I spent 4 to 5 thousand to paint all the interior and all the exterior and stuff like that. So this is labor also included. Roofing and framing, for that price, 2,500 square foot, should be, between 5 and 7, not more than that. Depending on the quality of wood, can play a big part, and stuff like that. So, and then what type of roofing? Some roof can actually put you over 10K, but I think 45, 6 should work. Ceiling work, you have the P.O.P option, or you can do some drywall, with recessed lighting and that kind of stuff. P.O.P can be very expensive. They don't charge per design. It is more by the square footage. And so wouldn't, unless you get some crazy, designs, that is like painstaking. But usually, it's just going to be the square footage. 45,000.
So let me ask you a question. Can you explain what P.O.P ceilings are? Because folks who have never been to Ghana may not know what that is. I know I didn't know until I got here. Because it to me, some of it, when you look, it looks like drywall with designs on the ceiling. and crown molding, but it's so much more, I don't know, eloquent, beautiful. It's done in such a beautiful way that you know full well it's not crown molding. This is something like craftsmen have done. But I was just wondering if you can kind of explain the difference, because I am super curious to know.
Yeah, so P.O.P, is plaster of Paris. So it's similar to like drywall. It's plywood, and they make some, they have some molding, right? So they mix P.O.P. There's P.O.P cement, and they have some fiber, which is like nylon stuff, to hold it together, and they add some other chemical. So basically, if you know drywall, it's kind of like that, right? And then except they'll mold the designs, right? So they'll use that to mold the designs. It's very, very well. It can be elaborate. It gives you a lot of flexibility. Um, and then after that, they will paint it. Usually, it should be fine. The only thing you have to worry about water, but usually they'll, once you plug the leaks and you can repaint them again. And so aesthetically speaking, it gives a lot of option. They can even do like crown molding, right? Crown molding P.O.P, and it's really, really nice. And the guys are very, very good. Usually, the Togolese, are the top tier one in this area. The Ghanaians don't do them often. So it's very, very good. Any design you want, you can do drop ceiling, you can put recessed lighting. It's just any imagination you have. So I think it can be delivered, and it's very, very durable. It's just you may have to paint it maybe 5 years down the road, just to brighten it up, stuff like that. But other than that, it's gonna stay put. Only if the ceiling joints were done properly to support the P.O.P, because depending on the space, it can be very heavy, and it's going to pull that ceiling a little bit, the joint down a little bit, and then you might see cracking in the P.O.P. Um,
Okay, that's great. I don't know. Can you hear me? Because it's raining so hard.
I can hear you.
There is a question on the screen, and I was wondering if you know anything about the sustainable building, because I have no idea.
So there's a couple going on. There's a lady that I met last year in the summer. They use earth, round earth technology, which they use a lot of lightrite, and I think they only use about 10% of the cement. I visited some of their projects. It was well done. I was impressed. It was very cooler. There's benefit to using like organic stuff. But I think the challenge also too is, they started and they went so fast, right? And so they didn't have the labor component to be doing series of projects. I checked back with her a couple of months ago, and it looks like the timeline was still pushed to sometime next year and stuff like that. So there is that option. You can do that. If it's done well, it's actually stronger than cement and concrete and stuff like that. But the question is the execution, right? So is the execution, the people must be very good at what they are doing. So that becomes a thing. But either or is fine. It's not right and wrong. It's just preference. But the person must execute it very, very well. But the run earth, the property that I looked at, I think was probably maybe 4,500 square footage, and the walls about 9 inches thick. So every wall is a structure. It's a load bearing wall. So you don't need iron rods. A lot of them for the flooring, for the second level, because you have 6 inches versus 9 inches, right? And so, but one of the things I was impressed with was very, very cooler. Like literally, you can get away without AC. I was very, very impressed with that because of the materials prevent heat from seeping in and stuff like that. So, but the question is that find somebody who's reputable, who has done this a couple of times, and ideally, if you can, visit one of the projects, right? And take a look and get a feel to see if that's the direction you want to do.
Okay, so let me give a shout out to everybody in the live stream. Guys, if you're in the live stream, please like the video. Appreciate that. I love that love you give us. Remember, we're providing you great information, so you're welcome to super chat if you like. I would greatly appreciate that. Okay, shout outs to Karima, Theo Phyllis, Solitude, Naya, Igibi TV, Ashanti Queen, Leroy, DK Adwa, EYB Entertainment, Linnell, Kwame. Let's see who else is here. Tigger or TGA? I don't know if that's Tigger or TGA. I don't know. Coco, What a Lady, J. Ott, King Troy, Mercy, Miss Wood, let's see, Felicia, who else? Who else? G and Michael. There's Dollar Bill in here and Sunkiss. Thank you all for joining. Please continue to ask your questions so that we can go ahead and try to answer them. Someone did ask a question about how much is P.O.P. And I do want to, you might have answered that, I'm not sure, but I do want to make sure that everyone knows that the prices being quoted are just estimates, and they're estimates in dollars because the dollar is pretty much consistent, and hey, people use the dollar here as well as the CD. So, how much is P.O.P. on a 2,000 square foot house? Can you tell us?
So let's say, 3 bedrooms, kitchen, the bathrooms are smaller. You have maybe the hallways and stuff like that. With so for that you should pay about $5,000 to $6,000. And they might probably ask for more, right? So so everything is negotiable. So that number, and so I think so. Here's one of the strategies I want people to employ when it comes to something like P.O.P. is that sometimes you can pay a little bit, but you can get everything that you want. You know what I'm saying? Like for mine, in my garage was not in the quote. So we go back and forth, and I say, okay, then I want you guys to do the garage, right? And they surprise me with an elegant design. So sometimes you can get more things by just paying that a little bit more, right? Because it is not like the chances are for the guys who will be there for a couple of weeks, right, to do that house. Now they'll be there for 2 3 weeks working every day, you know, because they have to do two coding. They're gonna do the first coding when it's done. Then after it settles in, then they have to do the more like finer paint work to look elaborate. So they are going to occupy the house. It's a messy job. It's a really messy job. It's gonna get everything dirty, and so that is why like we put out the building guidelines together, because you don't want to have windows while you do P.O.P. It's gonna get everywhere. It's gonna be sticky. You gotta screw. It's gonna get on the doors. It's gonna be, it's gonna be a headache removing them. So we want you to do the P.O.P. before the windows come in, and then the doors and that kind of stuff come in.
Okay, so here's another question from G about the P.O.P. prices are based on designs, and the person said they believe it's 5 to 6K is normal. I don't know what the square footage is.
Yeah. So what G is saying. So what G is saying, maybe true, depending on who you're working with, they might go for the designs as well, right? But with our team, what we do is like, we do per square
Say
foot.
that again.
I said what G was saying, right? So depending on who you're working with, they might want to quote you for the design, right? And stuff. But with our team, we just do square footage, right? So we're gonna come in there and measure the square footage, and then we're gonna take off that. So the labor part has nothing to do with the design, the square footage. Now the design might maybe include more materials, right, per se, but it's just for pricing for labor. It will be the same, because these guys are good. They're very good. They've been doing this for a long time, so they can execute well. So while it may look like elaborate for us, they've been doing it, and one thing they also ask, you can send them your own designs, or they can send them some from their own inventory and stuff like that.
All right, real quick. Dollar Bill, you gave me a super chat, bro. Yes. Okay, I love it. Thank you. The rest of y'all, you know what I'm saying? We giving y'all some good stuff for free. So I mean, help your girl out. the chat. Hit that like button, smash that like button, and just click it. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so one lady has a question. She said, I've never seen vaulted ceilings really in Ghana, just high flat ceilings. Are the roofers able to achieve that look?
Yeah, it's true. You know, vaulted ceilings are a little bit tricky to navigate, especially if you have big space, right? So for vaulted ceiling for like let's say, you know, 10 by 12 bedroom, yeah, that can be executed. You know, if it also helps if you have the design like a blueprint for a vaulted ceiling style. So then they just have to do the framing that way. But it is very, very tricky. Like it's very, very tricky for a lot of people to pull it off. They just go flat and just call it a day. But sometimes too, here's the thing I tell people: like if your roofer is not comfortable in doing the vaulted ceiling and they are already in the process, just go for flat because you don't want them to pull something over there and then next thing you know, you got some problems going and stuff like that. So yes, but so as you do your blueprint, you know, tell your architect to give you sections of those vortex ceilings, you know, so that it's just they can do the truss system, and then because the roof is going to go on the truss system, how it's done and stuff like that. And then so, but once it's done, the POP they can mold it. You know, they can mold using that pattern and mold anything of that sort.
Okay, that's great. So someone asked, do you also build apartment buildings?
Yes, we build everything. You know, condominium. We build mansions. We build single home. We build apartments. You know, my guys have worked on big projects. They work on hotels, and other homes that like high desirable locations and stuff. So the team is solid, and we have you know we're very fortunate to have qualified people in a lot of areas. You know, we have good engineers, you know, and who are working. So it's not like, you know,
Awesome.
when I
That's
get projects, I call them and you know we do it. But it's like they all like have their own independent stuff that they do and stuff like that. So they're always working.
the next question is, can you provide approximate total cost for building a 3-bedroom instead of just quote labor and materials? I'm not sure if Michael understands how you're doing your how we're going through the flow of the conversation.
So I will. So Michael. So I mean, I can give you a ballpark, right? I can give you a ballpark, but you know, the numbers really make sense if we do consultation and we get all the details and then we get the dimensions of each room. So for a 3,000 or like a 2,000 square foot home, 3 bedroom, 2 baths, I'm gonna take finishing out because you can't gauge that, you know, and so I would say, you know, you can get it, you know, 80,000. I'll say, you know what, 80,000, which will include, you know, windows, you know, structure, plumbing, electrical, plastering, fence wall, and then it gets tricky because paint is going to vary the flooring, right? Flooring type, tiles versus, you know, other things going to play this ceiling design. So that gets tricky, but I've seen it. You can complete everything 100, 120, 150, 200. Depends. It just depends what it is that you are willing to pay for, right? Because the cabinet comes in. Cabinets you can get $5,000. So my kitchen, each kitchen, you know, I pay about $5,000 each. You know, that can be that or more. So, but if we want the whole thing to narrow the numbers, we would need to get a blueprint and everything to actually, you know, get those numbers as they stand. So that's a ballpark. But you can do it. You can do it. You know, 100, 120. You can pull it off. You can pull it off and have okay things. But it depends.
Okay, great. All right. Y'all know I'm about to get hype again. IDV and solitude. Woo-hoo! That's what I'm talking about. Thank you for the super chat. Thank y'all so much. Okay, we have another question from Steven. He wants to know about container homes. He wants to purchase my own. I want to purchase my own and have builders to convert it to a home. much cheaper for a starter home. Kim, do you know anything about that, and how realistic is that here in Africa?
So it's cheaper. It's cheaper than a starter home. I agree. So I was looking at actually a container for another sister, and so the thing with the containers you have to understand is the shipping one. So I hope you're talking about the shipping containers. Is that they were not meant to be livable, right? So because they are treated with certain hazardous chemicals that you have to be aware of. So that means if you want to live in it, chances are you have to treat that and do drywall, right? So you have to drywall it, probably insulate in between that the whole thing, and then you have to probably have a land, do some foundation work, and we always say these containers should be elevated, so elevated from the ground for flooding reasons, and then you can go that route. But overall, even when you do all that stuff, I think it's still going to be cheaper than a starter home. But you have to know that there's some toxic chemicals that were used into those containers because they have to able to deal with the sea salt, the moisture during the route on the ocean, right? So you have to be careful with that, and have to also deal with rust. Eventually, they all do rust. All metals will eventually rust at a certain point. And so you have to, where you put it matters, right? Which part of Ghana will matter. So, but overall, it will be cheaper to do that, stuff like that. Just have to factor some things. Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, so Kwame says, or King Troy says, this is the kind of movement we want to see. The blacks around the world to come in and from Africa, I think is what he's saying. The motherland, our ancestors, bless your hustle. I like that last part.
I agree.
Kwame says, I have seen his work with my own eyes. He's talking about the work that you do with your company, so that's amazing.
Thank you, brother.
So someone says, I'm into the tiny house movement. Is small, efficient living feasible over there?
Yes, I've been reached out by a couple of people. There's this lady I spoke to a couple of days ago. She's building something 560 square foot. That's the footprint. Because sometimes maybe you want that tiny house so you can just move in there, right? While you take care of things and then figure out what else you want to do. So that is becoming desirable. And so without giving a lot of information out for that particular house, they got a quote that was like a lot more for the foundation for 560 square foot home. And I spoke to them. They gave me that. We did a quote, and basically, they say, like a third of the quote, was like that is how we're able to get it done. So tiny homes is becoming a new reality now. So whatever rocks your boat. If it's sometimes you have to start that way before you can figure exactly what type of home you want to build. So that is, it makes sense to me financially that you get a 2-bedroom and that kind of stuff, and then just take it from there.
Okay, fantastic. Guys, if you're inside of this live chat, we're giving you some great information about building in Ghana, really like how much things cost, what to expect, things like that. Please like the video if you're inside of this chat. Don't just window shop, y'all. Like the video. Thank you very much. Linnell, girl, I see you, girl. I see you. Thank you for my super chat, boo. Thank you. For the rest of you, Neighborhood Watch, Bruh Shaka, I love that name. Kwame, BC Cooper, Steven, Wonder Lady, Rob, Alex, anybody else who joined that I didn't give a shout out, Bright Eyes, Michael. Thank you guys so much for being part of this super chat. Thank you for asking questions. We're here to provide more information so you all can activate your Africa plan and exit. Have a backup, have a place to go in Africa, have a place to call home, so that when it's time to get out, you can get out, because we all need to have a way to get out. So make sure you take this information with you. So What a Lady asked a question about the vaulted ceilings. She also wants to know, can your team do vaulted ceilings?
Yes, we can do vaulted ceilings. have your architect also design the vaulted part, like a cross section, because that helps when we go do, because they will give us the dimension, how high the angles are, and stuff like that. And so it's with a vaulted ceiling, it's just like doing the truss, the framing, the wooden frame, and then basically, that's what it is. And so we can do that. So get our cross section from, and if you don't have it, then that means you probably have to give us something, right? You have to give us some image of, how you want this bedroom or that level to look like, so then we can recreate that, and stuff like that. But yes, we can put that off, not a big deal.
Okay, so the question I have for you is, when you're building in Ghana, you can start building with creating your wall and putting up your gates, right? And then stop until you have more money, and then work on your foundation with whoever your contractor is. So for instance, with your company, can someone build over time, or do they have to have all the money to build the house all up front when they contact you?
So we know the data. The data is what, at least 5 years, right? On average to build in Ghana. So we know 98% of them will not come up with the money up front. I didn't do that. A lot of us cannot afford to do that. So basically, it's going to be project by project. And so that is what we are geared for. And so, but what we try to do is to educate the clients, so then they can make better decisions, right? So we put down the construction guideline, which I think is a big deal, because they can see from there, they can see the next project, right? They can see the next project that is coming out, and then that helps them to plan that. Oh, okay, I'm done with this year. Okay, I know windows is coming. I know I got to do ceiling. I got to do that kind of stuff. So they have something like a roadmap that they can look at, because other than that, man, this building thing looks like forever. You're like, man, you finish this, there's this to go, there's this to go, and it can be really, really frustrating. So I think people need to look at that. But we are 98% sure that it's going to be, foundation, then the next one will be from here to lintel, then doing like burglar proof, and then doing like framing, ceiling work, not ceiling work, but roofing. And it's going to be something like that. But sometimes too, what we do is like, we tell people it makes sense to do certain projects together. So then you don't end up paying more, like double the labor down the road. So we might say like, okay, it makes sense to do this thing together. So maybe save more. We can give you the quote for both and say, okay, when you have enough, then we can do these things together, because it makes sense that way. Because I'm all about, I live here and I know how hard it is to make money. So for me, it's like you have to stretch it, right? You have to stretch it. So because that's how I did it. So we trying to help people to understand that, look, there's another way to look at it. And so it's not just about give us the money, go do the project. We will advise you at the end of the day, we're going to do what you want within reason. But for us, it's just delivering something for you that you're going to be happy, right? That is the overall thing, right? If you're happy, we did our job. Okay. So that means that there have to be some education. We have to let you know why we prefer certain things than others, and we'll give you the reasons, because this thing is more efficient, is more durable. And so that is what you are paying for, because sometimes people are using builders and they are giving them this code, but they don't really know what they are paying for, right? So if we are high, we're going to tell you, like, for example, chances are electrical work is going to be high, because we probably have one of the best electricians in the country, and they are going to give you the other options. That they're going to wire your fence. They're going to make sure, if you're a two-story building, you can turn the light off when you go on top of the stairs, right? You don't have to come all the way down. Like, there's multiple space in your room to turn the light off. If you go to bed and you don't want to get up, you can just turn the light off right by the bed, right? So we do all this extra, right? Like, circuits like in bathrooms to shave or to do whatever. Some people don't even have those things, right? So we do ours is more comprehensive. So that is what you are paying for, not just light and switch. You know, is more elaborate. The chances that we might do one thing and two things before then next weekend.
Yeah, no, I just want to jump in real quick because that's a great thing that you're saying. Because in Ghana, you get what you pay for, and everybody and their mama will tell you, "Oh, I can do that. I'm an electrician. I'm a mason. I'm a carpenter," and they don't know how to do none of that, or they know how to do one thing. They're actually a plumber. So you have got to be super careful and going with a company that has someone that this is their career, this is what they do, and have done it before, and has the ability to do it right the first time. That matters. So yeah, sorry to cut you off.
That's all right. Yeah.
All right, guys, if you're inside of the chat, please like the video that you're watching right now. We're bringing you some great content on how to build in Ghana and what it costs to build in Ghana. Linnell, girl, you are blessing me today. You done gave me 2 super chats. I'm just so humbled right now. I don't know what to do. Thank you so much. Dollar Bill, you did the same thing. Like, y'all know it's Mother's Day, right? Y'all trying to make me feel good. Thank you. Ladies, happy Mother's Day to all of you in the chat. Okay, so Ronald says, I'm looking forward to renting a home through the BlackUnicorn and then go from there to build my 5-bedroom house. You are a great one-stop shop for your people. So I think he means go through me for renting, go through you for building. So that's amazing. We would love that. Supporting your fellow Black folks and supporting Black businesses is everything. So next question is, how do you avoid stealing building materials?
So okay, I'll give a little bit because sometimes the contractor is also watching the video, right? And they are adjusting. So there's a couple of ways, and involves some psychological proof, like part of it. So sometimes you can mark, the cement, or sometimes you can do infiltration. Okay, you can do infiltration, and so this is some of the things that come out. You must know the type of cement you buy, because sometimes even if you tell them to store the bag that was used, they mix it with other bags from other projects, right? Which is a whole different brand. So keep an eye on those things, right? Keep an eye on those things. And then, but usually, what you want to do, visit the sites, have some ears within the builders. And Ghana, you can get information. You grease the palm a little bit, you get information. And then have somebody who's outside the project, like somebody who's like in the neighborhood, right? And you can say, look, this is what I want you to do. I want you to keep an eye on these things. Just a little box, let me know. And they'll becomes your eyes and ears, right? And so, but then there's other things that I don't want to put it out here, because then they this that. So you can do that. And the thing too is like for our team, it doesn't really make sense for us to do that, because at the end of the day there's enough in the labor, right, to take care of everybody. So there's no reason to be stealing materials. It really makes absolutely no sense, right? And they know that that's not how we do business, because when you do that, basically you are making it difficult to run the business, right? And so the material, and this is what we tell people: bring, if you can come to the site, come to the site, right? Just watch things. It's your project, right? Or you can send a team. You're allowed to send people over there, but the materials will be used. And there are times that maybe the materials are like, look, we underestimate them, and stuff like that. That discussion will be had. But the idea, like somebody carrying like cement bags and stifling to do that, the team, we don't roll with that. And the guys know it's just that is just get you out, will put you in a lot of trouble. But when you come to consultation, we will give you certain things, how to really build from outside and have eyes and ears on the ground. Like, it's funny because whenever my caretaker drives my vehicle, I get calls. Oh, he's on the move. I say, okay, let me know when he gets back. It's so you can we have a lot of power. We just don't know how. And obviously we don't want to put a lot of things here because we don't know who's watching and stuff like that. So some of the things behind the scene, you can really, really know what is going on more than you think. You can really have access from from material cost, from workmanship and all that stuff. There's a way that you get these guys paranoid to the stand that they don't trust anybody around them, that they like everybody's doing their work, and stuff like that. So
Okay, so I want to go into the strategies, but first I want to answer, have you talk quickly about this question. How much does it cost to have an architect draw up the plans in Ghana? And I want to add to that, does the architect have to be a Ghanaian architect?
so I answer the second part first. So at the end of the day, it depends what you want, right? It depends what you want because they are good, some Ghanaian architects, but the thing that I'm also finding out too is like there's a way of how they do their work and their resistance to change. Like open concept is really difficult, right? And so if you have an open concept, because I always tell people layout is the most important thing, because if you have a bad layout, you're not going to enjoy that house. And you're not going to be moving wall from, it's not like here you can take this wall down, take that thing down. So layout is very, very important. It is important you get a layout that you want. And usually you can tell if the architect can hold it because they start pushing back and say, well, we do it this way, because they should not be doing that kind of stuff. They should be able to say, okay, we should be able to draw that stuff. So you can start from there because the Ghanaian architects right now are getting expensive, closer to the ones that we hear. So you can get like $1,500, even $2,000, right, to do like a whole house. So I'm saying that get a feel first, make sure they understand it, right? Because the challenge is that they haven't seen sometimes what you're trying to do. Like you want an elevated house with a patio, like overflow patio, something like that. Sometimes it's just new. It's just new for them to do. And you know how they are. They're not going to tell you like they don't know what they are doing. You say, I can pull it off. So I think test with that. And if they are not delivering or they are being hesitant, then I would say move on and get the plan that you want, because at the end of the day it's gonna make it or break you, break, stuff like that. So that's what I would say. But then I saw one question here, about, I think two people put in there, and I want to answer that quick. So it's about ramp F. So the cost between ramp F, let's say like my house. So let me use my house for example. If you have to build a run earth, it's going to be cheaper. Run earth is going to be cheaper, because you're using about 10% of concrete, and concrete is a big part of building the way we build, right? So it's going to be cheaper. It's going to be sound. It's going to be solid. Structure is going to be good. It can, I'll probably say, the only difference will be cheaper. It has ramp F is probably going to be cooler, but the issue is that there's only one company that I know that are really good in executing that, and they don't have the manpower to do that right now, right? So they have regrouped, they have pushed all the projects out. They're not even looking at any projects. But I will check with them. I'll check with the sister today or tomorrow. And if they are taking in more project, I'll shoot you the information so you can give it to your team, your guys, and then they can reach out to them. But I know as of March, first week in March, they were suspending bringing in new project to next year.
Okay, so let's jump into strategies, because I think some people, and we talked about this, you and I, that some people may think that you were a super rich man, and that's how you were able to build your house in Ghana and for it to be big, because you got that money like that, like you be making it rain.
I'm working on it.
Don't know the reality of the fact that you are hardworking middle class man, just like everybody else.
Mhm.
So I think people need to understand what they can do so that they can accomplish goals just like you have. So if you could share with us some strategies, that would be wonderful.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you this strategy. Okay, free, take it. Right, it's gonna help you. So here's the thing: we have more money than we think we have. Okay, it's collectively, right? Black people, we have money. So, and everything that I'm gonna discuss with you, I'm doing. That is how I was able to build that house, right? And so the strategy. This is how it's gonna go. So imagine you don't make another dollar, okay, for the next year. You don't and stuff like that. Within your family, come together. Okay, so we're talking about unity right now, right? But I think we have to start from home. So within your family, you're gonna find somebody who's very, very responsible, and that person is gonna take that lead. Now we're gonna cut back some things because guess what? Black people collectively spend 90% of all the healthcare products in the US. I repeat, 90% of healthcare products are bought by Black people, right? So, in terms of wealth uh, accumulation, we are at the bottom, right? We have the least wealth compared to any group, but we are outspending any group in a lot of categories, right? So, what I'm going to say is that this is exactly what I did. I cut off the cable, right? Cut off the cable. I was paying $1,200 a year on cable. I didn't get anything different. I cut off the cable. Now the healthcare product, okay, if I say give it up, it's gonna be suicidal for some of us. So this is what I'm gonna say. January, we're gonna do weave. February, natural. Okay. March, we're gonna rotate. So 6 months of the year, we're gonna go natural. That alone will save us thousands of dollars by the end of the year. That alone. So you add that to cable. Start making your food to work. A lot of money goes to food, man. Those things add up. $20 here, $15, they add up at the end of the year. We're going to reduce that. Okay, clothing, zero. You're not going anywhere. Corona is in town. You're not going anywhere. So no clothing, no shoes, no cars this year because you're not going anywhere. Okay, that alone is several $1,000s, right? If you add it up over the year, that's several $1,000s, right? Vacation is off the table because we're not going away. Birthdays for kids, because I know some of us like to spend all this money. This year, they're going to get a cake, and the money that we usually spend will go to the 529 plan for their college fund. That's where that money is going. Okay? Kids will be the same kid next year. Nothing's going to change. Okay? So we're going to cut back these things, right? And I'm telling you, if there's 5 of you in your family, you do these things. So remember, you have not added any money, right? Easily, you can come out with 25, 30,000 at the end of the year. Just 5 people. That's how so I'm giving you the strategy of how I did it. Okay. Because even the people that have the wealth, 1 and 2, the number 1, 2 people that controls the wealth use this strategy. So people can afford it and they are using the strategy. For us, we can afford it. So it makes sense for us to use this strategy. And this is what is going to happen. I said 1 year. You get a 6 month, and you're going to be so motivated. You're going to start cutting all kinds of stuff out that is not even on this list because you can see, wow, we have this money sitting in the bank, and ideally have 3 people co-signers on the bank. So if they want to withdraw, they have to have 3 people to sign up on that in person because sometimes our people will be something else, you know. So have that, and then you have somebody that collects the money monthly, and then deposit this thing and send it, the receipt to everybody. Say this is where we are, and he's going to motivate you, right? If you have to buy anything, look at Black-owned businesses first, right? Shop around. I know sometimes we don't market ourselves. Shop around first, okay? Do that, and you buy what you need for 1 year. So no jewelry, no clothes, no shoes, no cars. It doesn't make sense to go get a $30,000 car. I have 1 car here, okay, because it doesn't make sense to go get another 30,000 car. You're paying $500-$600 a month on car loan. Then insurance gonna go up because it's a nicer vehicle. We are not driving anywhere, right? We are not driving anywhere. So if you do that, then So that is the first part. Then you know what's going to happen? When you get a raise, you take some, you put some in retirement, you add some here. You get a bonus, you do that. So keep the retirement, 401k, match that. Get some account for the kids. Okay, those things you touch. But everything else, the cigarette, one pack a day, we're gonna stretch it to 3 days now. We're gonna do 3 days, for one pack. It's okay. And eventually we want to get rid of that because there's $5, $6, $7, $8, they add up quick. Okay, we're gonna cut back. So Corona, we can use Corona, this crisis, actually to our benefit because we can decrease our spending, right? We can decrease their spending. If you have a friend that has a habit of showing these nice clothes and shoes, you may have to block them for a while because that is not productive to what you are trying to do. Because what you're trying to do is to delay a good life and have a great life. Okay? Eventually, when you have that money, you're going to find somebody that is willing, is disciplined enough, serious to make the Africa trip. They're going to go over there. We're going to help them secure some land. They're going to start some foundation. Okay? And after the 1 year, this become like a habit, right? And you see, and then next time, the next year is going to go up because now you have seen the value of what you're able to do. They can start a 5, 6 bedroom house, right? Because someday you need a refuge. You can't live here. I don't care what we're telling ourselves these days. It will be so unbearable that you trust me. And if you are older and maybe you are on Social Security, you are on retirement and that kind of stuff, maybe you have decided you want to stay here, but your grandkids may not afford to live here 10, 20, 30 years down the road. So that is something that you can throw it in there. What are the $100 or whatever you can? Just throw it in there and just see what happens, right? You haven't made any more money. You are just not spending because we are beating everybody. And the sad thing, so usually marketers, right, target us with specific ads because they know we spend a lot. 2017 to 2018, the advertising targeting our community dropped by 5%, right? But guess what? In those 2 years, our spending went up 16%, right? So it's kind of like now we are autopilot. We're just buying the stuff, Window shopping, we don't need that. So window shopping, basically it is like, I have money that I want to just throw it over there. So let me go and buy something that I really don't want, but it's kind of like on sale. Okay, we can't afford to do that. We cannot afford to do that. So you want to see me build a 6,500 square foot mansion over there? That is how I did it. I cut out Chipotle, and I love me some Chipotle because I would drive over there and I'll be like, okay, I add this guacamole extra stuff like $9. No, I can get 2 cement bags, and I'm going back home. I make my oatmeal. Okay, and then once I start seeing that, I cut off the cable. Once I start cutting all the stuff, I'm like, man, they add up. They add up, and that is 5. So 10 of you in the family, easy, 50 grand a year. 50 grand a year, easy. By just cutting things out that nobody cares about.
You can cook at home. You don't need to eat out. I just have to chip in because I did a lot of stuff that you're talking about. That's how I got to Germany. That's how I'm in Africa right now. You right on point. Yes.
So we can do this. We can do this. And this is a strategy that I learned from a lot of people. And I have financial advisors down the road that have studied for a long time how to move money, how to keep it, how to invest, how to do all kinds of stuff. So everything I'm telling you I have done, I am doing it, right? I buy what I need. Okay? I buy what I need. And I think once we do that, right? So have a family discussion and say, you know what? This is what we need to cut back. We're going to be cooking more. It's much healthier for us. We're going to save, money. And then I'm telling you, do this in 6 months, just 6 months. And you see how much money you have accumulated. You are not going to be the same. That you can come out with that $200,000 quick than you think you can come out with. Other than that, because they don't pay us at the rate they pay everybody, right? So we're not going to out earn anybody. But if we can out save them, we can accumulate that. And then because the African exit plan is going to be needed down the road, and this is the time to start building that until it's too late. Okay, I can only host so many people in my house, and stuff like that. So I'm telling you, then down the road, when you do about 4 or 5 months, excuse me.
Guys, thank you for joining. I want to give a shout out to those of you who gave me a super chat. And I see one from Leslie and Sunkissed Flowers. Thank you, ladies. Y'all know I love my super chat. Thank you so much. Those of you guys who just joined, thank you all for joining. I can't call out all your names because the chat is a lot happening. But I would appreciate if you guys would hit the like button because you're watching this. You're getting great information from an expert, period, on building in Ghana. So I'm trying to bring you guys experience from Ghanaians or those from the diaspora who have built in Ghana. And I'm here with Forever Homes today, and he is sharing with you the process to build, the cost, and what his company does. His company is Royal Consulting Solutions. Yep. Yeah. And his company can help you build your home from as soon as you get that land. They can help you build your home from the bottom all the way up to the finishings, everything. So please take into consideration the things that he's telling you, and like the chat, share some super chats. I would love to have that. And I'm going to put all his information in the description box of this video once it goes on to YouTube, once the live stream is over. Because someone asked in here about the resources and getting the information for my guest today. So you'll get the information for Forever Homes. You can contact him directly, and then you can go from there. Okay, I'm sorry. You wanted to go ahead and finish, yeah?
Yeah. So it can be done. It can be done, and then when you start doing that, then we need to talk, right? When you start accumulating, we need to talk because there's other strategies that we can put out there. We can maximize that money, right? So these are facts. I'm telling you this stuff, right? And I'm a living proof, right? Not a lot of us. You see, I have some friends who were non-black visited me this summer, and they said, and they make good money. They said, "There's no way we can live like this in the U.S." And I said, "I know, right?" And so because they make more money than I do here, but they can't match the lifestyle. You see, and so what I'm telling you are proven tactics, strategies that other people use to accumulate wealth. And I think we need to do that. And I'm a testament, right? And I'm about to begin a second home. Same strategy, right? I came back, cut a bunch of things off because that's another things I need to focus on, right? Why I'm not touching my retirement, that kind of stuff. I'm just cutting the waste, and find somebody who's frugal in that family and responsible. That's the person that takes the lead. And then I am telling you, it would not take long for you to see how much wealth this has been sitting here in this family, because the wealth is not going back to our community in the first place. We're just giving it out, right? We don't even benefit from these things, right? 90% of the money we spend doesn't go back to black-owned businesses, right?
Compared to how the Jewish community or any of the Asian communities and like the Turks as well, they all keep the money in the community. So when they get paid and they get money, they only spend it with their own. They do not spend it with other people. So y'all running out there getting your nails done by these Asians who don't want you in there in the first place, save that money for your house. You out there buying that weed that's gonna catch fire as soon as you get close to something. Save your money. A $300, $400 install plus $500 for the weed ain't worth it. Trust me, baby. I used to wear that weed too. It is not worth it because you can save that money and it can go toward your house. Okay, just letting the ladies know real quick. I had to jump in on that one.
Okay, and then one thing too, I think we need to do too for our sisters and brothers who have taken the courageous journey and they are in the continent, we need to rally. It is our job to make sure they make it, right? They make it well, they succeed. So we need to support them. We need to support them financially. It's good for the worse or good, but we need the money too, right? We need the money goes further, right? So we need to make sure that they build this house. So instead of being the 3 bedroom they were trying to build, let's help them do the 6 bedroom because there might be a time that we might need that exit strategy, right? And then help them in the business they're trying to set up, right? Because we will need allies, okay? You see, the reason, you see, like, I'll use myself an example. I have an option. If I don't have to live here, I have an option. I don't, And so
Yes.
when you have that, it's you walked by a different tune, right? Your attitude is a different thing because I don't have to be here. I know why I'm here. If I got to the point I'm like, I'm out, I'm out. So we need to have that refuge. You need to have that escape route because the way things are going is going to get worse. I mean, look at this corona. Look at how devastating it is in our community, right? And so we are in an environment that nobody gives a rat about you. And what I'm saying is that at least your kid's lifetime, they should have an option, right? Maybe you decide you want to be here, but do we have to subject the kids to that too? Right? So we need to support our brothers and sisters who are making this journey. We need to support them and make sure they make it. We need to do everything we can to make sure they make it big because someday if the need becomes critical, we can just go and we are not starting from fresh. There's already a foundation, there's a place to stay. You can join in the business that they have started, right? And you can live with dignity, dignity and happiness, right? So for me, this is what this is about. It's not just you building the house. You can build a house here. No, is the life, the dignity that you feel like you matter, you're a human being, you are important, right? You're not
Yeah.
hunted down.
In Africa, you are a man. You are not treated like a child, or you're not treated like a criminal. You're not treated like an animal to be hunted because, no pun intended, y'all, it's nigga hunting season in the US. And y'all see it. And, and I say it like that because back in the day, in the 20s, white people used to get a license called nigga hunting season where they went out to lynch. If you know your history, you would know that. And they're doing it in a modern way now. And I have a son and a daughter, and I'm always afraid for them. So if there's any reason for you to get out of the US or at least have a backup plan so that you know you have a home to go to, where you will be respected and treated the way you should be, and not just because of the color of your skin, then you need to start working on your exit plan. Start activating that Africa plan you have, start getting it together, start writing down your goals. Because Forever Home got quite a few videos schooling us on goals. Because I've been watching him for over a year. I'm going to let y'all know. He be telling you how to make the goals. I'm going to go back and watch him. If you don't have those goals, y'all need to get them. And he's 100% right when he says in his videos, write your goals down and be able to execute on them. Because I have done all these things, but I've been doing it for a long time because I'm very focused. And so you guys we're trying to bring you this information so that you know you have options and have a better idea on how to do it, because the information is not readily available to us outside of Africa. We don't know. All we see is negative images of Africa. All we see is what Western media shows us. Now we have other platforms, other ways to get information through social media, but at the same time, not all the information is accurate. So that's why I have him on here today, sharing with us what he's doing with his company and how he's helping to build Ghana and how he's helping the diaspora come back and be able to build homes in Ghana. You want to add some more stuff? Because I totally just...
Let me add one more thing. So if you're African or whatever we call ourselves these days, African descent, black, whatever, right? This statement that we tell ourselves, U.S. is the greatest country in the world. It's not true. Not for you. Okay? Not for you.
It's not true for nobody that's black, period.
Not for you. So I know, you have quote unquote the leaders in the black community who make that statement. It's not, it's just ignorant. It's just, it makes absolutely no sense. And you can be an ignorant rich person too. Okay? Right? So, because if you look at your condition, the data doesn't bear that. Because you know what? I've asked non-Africans this question. They'd be like, how do you think black people are doing? And the ones that say, oh, I think, it's not bad. And I say, will you trade places? They said, no. You see, right? You are not doing bad, but nobody will treat places with your condition. So when we come out and we say this is, and this is something that is kind of like a young lady in an abusive relationship and the guy saying that this is the best you ever do, the best thing that can happen, there's nobody out there for you. It's a way to control you, right? But I know it's not true. Kalia will tell you it's not true. Man, when I hit that motherland, I'm a king. I live where I do whatever I want. I'm free. And those who have hang with me, oh, we have a great time. We have a great time. I don't do anything. I don't travel. I don't do anything. If it's not about Africa, I'm not even interested. So some lie that have been perpetuated to let you not look at any other options, right? Because the question is, the day you start moving your money out, oh, that is when they will start even hunting you down because they can't live with you, right? You can't live without you, right? And so what I'm saying is that we are not vulnerable. We have power. We just have to concentrate the power, right? And with these steps, you can begin to control your destiny, write your own story, right? And this is what this is about. The house is just a little bit part of it, but it is bigger than that. It is just bigger than that. So that is what we are trying to do, is to let you know that you don't have to feel like worse than an animal sometimes, right? You don't have to feel like every day you leave the house, there's this anxiety, right? Man, I don't take anxiety pills, right? What was that about? It's because like,
Right.
it's all this fear, right? It's all this fear, and I'm saying is that there's a better way. I know there's a better way. There's a better way, and it's those who are building, those who have moved, they like understand what I'm talking about. Is to live in an environment for the first time, like you don't
My
have.
lights came back on. I got excited. I'm sorry.
Right? You don't have your senses up, right? Like you don't even know how much mental energy, right? You put in to survive here. You don't even know the mental energy that goes into that until you have gone to another place that you be like, man, I feel relaxed. Because you're the product of the sun, right? I feel welcome. My spirit is high. I'm energetic. It's priceless. You
Yeah,
can
it is.
bring a billion dollars to live here, And so this is what it's about.
Oh my God, that was amazing. I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, I got to tell you, that was like you just preached, you put it down, you gave us all a good old education. I just love it. Okay, let me give a shout out to everyone who just joined the chat, or you joined the chat during the time that we were going over the strategies. Thank you all for joining. If you are inside the chat, please hit the like button. I see 113 of you in the chat right now. A few of you gave me super chats. I want to say thank you to Andy, Sister Joku, and Miss Wood, and Ayivi TV. That's to all y'all who gave me a super chat. Y'all know I love my super chats. Okay, so let's go ahead and go back to a couple questions. And I want to, let me see. There was a question by Sunkiss. I want to go to that one. And she's asking about, so the questions are going to be mixed now. You're going to have probably questions about strategy and questions about building. She's asking a question about, can I use an alarm system instead of window bars? I don't think people understand how important these bars are.
Yeah, so you can. The challenge with alarm system is the monitoring system, right? So the alarm is going to go off, but then who's going to be monitoring? Like, are they going to send a team um, over there if you're away from the house? That kind of stuff. If you live in a gated community, the alarm system maybe will get the security guard to go over there or something like that. But if you live kind of like in an isolated place, like by yourself, then it's like if nobody's in the house, the alarm really doesn't benefit you anyhow because it's like they can still do whatever they want to do. And so that is a challenge. So why the burglar proof, why not desirable aesthetically is kind of it still can be defeated, but at least you buy some time, right? Because mostly the criminals want to get in quick and bounce. But for the next build, I am entertaining some security stuff that I'm working on. And to see, so as I get some more info, I'm gonna talk. I know I definitely want some alarm system. There's some of them that you can still have apps to access on your phone and stuff. By the end of the day, even the alarm is triggered, you still need somebody to get over there within a couple of minutes, and stuff like this. So that'll be the thing.
I think it's important for people to understand that security companies like ADT, police coming to your house as soon as your alarm goes off, it doesn't work like that here, especially depending on where you live at. When he talks about living in a gated community, they have these estates that you pay quite a pretty penny for. You pay much more than you would if you bought your land and built your house. Even then, they're limited, right? So it's just the way things work here in Africa, in Ghana in particular, is not going to be the same the way things work in the West, especially in the States. And so the need for the bars they may not look nice, but you can get them designed so that they flow and that they're painted like white, because I've noticed white bars let the sun flow through even better in some houses, but it just depends on what you want, right? So you can get the bars to be more aesthetically pleasing, but you need them. Because like he said, it can stop or at least slow down people who are trying to take the bars off. But so just be mindful of that. Remember, if you're coming to Africa, you're coming to adjust to how the culture is, because you can't change the culture. But what you can do is make it livable and good for you. Okay, so what other questions do we have?
I think there's one about mini split.
Go ahead.
So the question about mini splits. Yeah, so the mini split ACs, you can use it to cover like multiple rooms, like for example, like a living room and a dining room. So you probably will get like 2.0, 2.5 horsepower to be able to do that. But in a bedroom, it's just like that space. You can't use it for multiple bedrooms. I don't know how that's going to work. But
what is that about? What do you
ACs on the wall. So they wanted to know if you can use it for like multiple rooms, because if you have open concept in which the living room flows to the dining room, then you can use that. But ideally, what you want to do is you want the longevity of the system, so you don't want it to be putting a lot of energy to cool off the place. So usually either you go two medium size, like 1.5 or something like that, and then you put them like across from each other. So then that would do the work, because if the machine is taking about 90 to 95% power to energy to run, it's not going to last that long.
So there's a question here about architects. There's this one about finalizing the plans. And then another one about do architects charge extra for changing the building plans they set up for you? Here's the second one.
So let's assuming you got a blueprint, and then down the road you want to change it. They might change depend. So the modification, the difficulty of the modification is going to determine the price, right? Because usually, if they did on the CAD files, which is easy, they can just move things around. But sometimes it's just a personal relationship with the architect, But I don't think they will do it for free. It might take a couple $100, depending on what the changes are. But so that is why it makes sense for me to just create like a folder of everything you want, right? And don't feel like you have to rush all the decisions. So take your time. Take your time to look at what is submit, right? You know, preferably have somebody also look at it, right? And certain things. So you make sure that when you get a final product, you're not going back. But even with that, building, you still make some slight changes. Sometimes there will be like, 10 feet here, but then as you bid and you'll be like, oh, 10 feet looks small. So let me get another 2 feet and that kind of stuff. You will make that little bit changes. But for those one, I don't think you should go pay for it, right? I don't think you should go pay for expansion. You should pay for more like the redistribution of where things are. Like you want to move the bedroom to the other side, and that kind of stuff. But don't pay for like additive, if you want to go either width or height or like depth, don't pay for that stuff. Those things can be made during foundation.
She appreciated that. So I put her thank you up on the screen, which is awesome.
Yeah.
There's several questions about solar. So the questions are, can you use solar? How much does it cost? And then this one about installing solar panels on the roof. So do you know much about solar?
Yeah, I know a little bit. So solar, so there's two ways you want to go about it. If you want to go off the grid and then you want to do solar, it's going to be really expensive, right? Even for and it's not really the size of the house, it's more like the energy output, right, that you need. Okay. And so I mean, like for my house, right? One time I looked at the price, how much is it going to cost for me to go off grid? That was about $50,000, right? And because the AC is the killer. The AC it drains a lot of energy. Now there's this AC that they are using right now in combination of solar inverter ACs that should help. But I would say do a hybrid, because electricity is not too expensive in Ghana. So do a hybrid and then get a solar, because you can always add panels. You can always add more panels to the solar. Um, and then I would say the batteries. Also, one thing you can do with the batteries, because the lithium batteries are the most expensive. And so you can get like maybe medium grade batteries, knowing that 5 years from now, you will have to replace them. Then maybe that 5 years, you save more money to add more panels. So you can build it up. So what I'm saying is like you can build your solar needs. You don't have to have everything at the same time. So, and there's one good solar company that I have. But even for this house, this second house, I'm doing solar. So, I
So
want.
solar, so I guess I have a question on how you feel about solar when it comes to your security cameras and your security system that you have that uses electricity. So power goes out here. You never know when it's going to go out. Like my power was out through the first half of this entire interview. And
Mhm.
so when your power goes out, your camera's shut down. So how do you have the backup? Would a good backup be having, if you don't have solar for the whole house, maybe just starting with solar to backup, I don't know, the security cameras, or like, what do you think about that?
So some security cameras have a backup battery for I think 2 days or something like that. So you want to look into that, and that is also for the alarms for the electrical fence wire. They have a couple of days. I don't want to give the date out, but they have a couple of days backup battery so it's even on. Because then if you are coming home and your electrical gate doesn't have power, then you stuck, right? So the electrical gate also has backup batteries. So look into that. And usually too, when the power goes off, it's just a couple of hours, you know, and stuff like that. We don't have like days and stuff like that. So that will work. But the solar can be a backup. You can set up like automatic. That is just gonna kick in. You can just do the necessity. Is only when you start running the AC, that is what that is driving the cost by 50% by just putting the ACs on them. And so that's why you build with fans and AC, and then sometimes you have to orientate your building to get fresh air, right? So these are something that we take a look when we come on site and that kind of stuff, um, and stuff like that. So, but these systems are getting good at they have backup. They have backup to run them for a couple of days because other than that, what is the point? You have a camera you can't access. You don't know what is going on. You know.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, guys, if you're in the chat, there's over 100 of you in the chat. Could you please like the video? Would appreciate you just clicking that like button. If you would like to give a super chat, I would appreciate that. We're trying to answer questions that you have, or we're providing you information from Forever Home. That's his YouTube channel. His company is Royal Consulting Solutions, and he builds and does other development and construction in Ghana. And he's here to help the diaspora. So please, guys, make sure that you are paying attention. I'm going to put his information in the description box so that you can reach out to him directly. So the question is, what is the building permit process in Ghana?
So usually, and I would say obtain a building permit. So you need the land documentation, your blueprint, right? And then you're gonna submit it in, and then they'll give you a receipt. And so they'll just make copies of the land documentation and that kind of stuff. And then they'll give you a receipt. That doesn't mean that you can't build. You can start building. Keep that receipt very well, because sometimes you have these land guards, that come in, and or even people from the building permit department will just show up on site and that kind of stuff. So the receipt can come in handy. And so it takes the time to get it back is shorter, than the land registration process. But once you get that documentation, just start building. And you don't, and it's not that expensive. But I think it's a good way to do, because you don't want you start building and there's graffitis on your property, stop work, that kind of stuff. So go through the channel. Granted, it's not efficient. It takes long time and stuff like that. But I think in the end, you just don't want too many disruptions. As you are building.
So for water and those who are able to get a borehole on their property, does the borehole cost range based on the house size, or is there just like one set cost for the labor, and once the borehole is done, it's just able to supply the house? Because someone asked us how to find it again.
Yeah, so for the borehole, the size of the house, it's not going to matter anything. So what are they charging now? 9,500 CDs now for the borehole. And so basically, so that is like the standard. And then what happens is sometimes they may have to dig a little further. So they'll bring in another machine, another borehole machine, and then they're gonna drill a little bit further. So that might cost a little bit more. And then what it is that price is also included in the pump. So there's a pump that pulls the water from the ground. So that one is buried in there as well. And then basically you just cap it. But then it's important you test it for salt, because depending on where you are, the salt content can be really great, and you don't want to be using that to be doing your plastering work and that kind of stuff. You don't want to be connecting. Do not connect any borehole to your plumbing system unless you've tested it. You tested it and stuff like that. Other than that, you're just gonna get all your pipes, your faucet, your shower heads, all those things are gonna corrode. It's just gonna corrode because of the salt, and you don't want to use it for washing your car and that kind of stuff. So get it tested. There's a place in Legon, I think in the university, that you can take samples and you can go in and they will test it for you, the source content. Yeah.
Okay, great. So there's a question here, and I would like for both of us to answer this. She's asking how to start the process for moving to Ghana. So I want to address this by saying it depends if you want to permanently live here, or if you want to be able to buy land and then start building while you still live in the US. So for me, I help with, if you permanently want to live here. And then you want to start building while you're living here, or you want to move here after you already started building. So with Black Unicorn Properties, we help the diaspora find rental units here in Ghana. So any of the major cities in Ghana. Most people tend to want to come to Accra because I guess that's where you land first, and it's the biggest city, it's the capital. So we help you find rentals that are affordable in your budget and that meet the criteria you have. And then we walk you through and take you through the process so that you understand how rentals work and renting works here in Ghana, because it's completely different than how things work in the US. So the website for our company is the BlackUnicorn.org. And I'm going to let Tony handle his side.
So you said it best. So reach out to Sister Kalia. She can help you with the whole process. One of the things I want you to think about is just preparation, and don't go with the mindset as I'm gonna go find a job, right? Because there's a lot of things you have to deal with. Chances are the money you're not gonna get paid well, and there's other things. So have a skill that you can see that if something you can execute, right? So save up, start looking where you want to live, right? Start looking for budgets, because ideally once you have taken care of the accommodation, it's a little bit easier, right? Because then you know that, look, I only have to focus on maybe a business, how to generate income, right? So whatever that you do, make sure you are flexible. Make sure you can work from anywhere, right? You want to have that flexibility, but don't go in there with a job mentality, because no.
I agree. You shouldn't be looking for a job here. You should be producing jobs for other people. This is not a place to come to looking for a job, because you're going to be disappointed in the culture. The culture in the workplace here ain't nothing like you ever seen. I don't care what kind of culture you think you got in the States, baby. Doing business in Ghana is not for the faint of heart. And that's just being like an independent contractor doing business. Working within the company is even more complex. So you need to be coming here with the business already started or in mind to start a business on the ground here in Ghana, and then be able to hire people and go from there. Don't look for a job, because you're gonna be mad and disappointed. Don't do it. Okay, so we have another question asking about, can you throw some light on aluminum windows and UPVC windows?
So I think I did a video on this some time ago when I was doing my windows. I think between the pros and cons of that is and I think I end up choosing the PVC one, because so basically what it is, there's durability issues, right? Durability, so longevity, the quality, and also the flexibility. There's certain things you can do with PVC you can't do with aluminum, right? There's so it's about the molding and all kinds of stuff. So I think I did a video on that. But if you have to choose between both, I'll say just go like PVC.
Okay, and then the next question here is, what should we look for in choosing a contractor to build your house?
So one of the challenges is like trying to get information from our side, right? So I think ideally, you know the internet videos can be deceiving sometimes. They copy all the stuff and they paste it over there, which is not even their handwork. And so I think you have to do a lot of screening, and then if you so look at it like you are you are you are getting gathering some information. So you talk to them, try to understand what their philosophy is, ask questions that you kind of like have the answer, and see how they respond to that. um, and then get somebody on the ground. You need somebody on the ground, to vet them, to do those work for you. Then you have to visit, right? Don't be whining crazy money to anybody. You just have to visit, um, and see what they can do. You want somebody who's professional, right? Who understand what they're trying to do, and so then you vet them, and then you do a small project at a time, because the small project is you are building trust. That's what you are doing, right? And so you do that, and they have to earn it. They have to earn everything. So and then you take it from there. But you have to be vigilant. You have to be really, really careful because these people are very good on what they can tell you. And so but you need an ally. You need an ally on the ground who is going to double check, triple check things for you, who is not connected, who is not incentivized by them to say anything and stuff like that. But then you have to be on the ground. I say just be on the ground.
All right. So I think that's all the questions. Is there? Oh, there was one question earlier tonight, and it was when we first started. And the question was: is it cheaper to build a house in other regions outside of Accra, like the Eastern region, versus building in Accra? And does your company build in the other regions as well?
Yeah, so Accra would be the most expensive, second to Kumasi, right? And so not cheaper, right? So as you go more on the healthcare is cheaper, labor is cheaper, um, and the materials are very reasonable. So, but it's just because look at Accra like New York City, right? Trying to build in New York City compared to like like upstate New York somewhere, Binghamton or something like that. So it's just like things can be inflated in Accra, but also too, yes, we do go. We've done stuff in Kumasi, we've done stuff in the Volta region, we are in Eastern region. So we do go. Usually, what we do is like we'll just get accommodation for the guys, and then they'll just stay there and finish the project till they come back to Accra. So we do go anywhere that the need is this is except that maybe we might charge a little bit for travel time and that kind of stuff. But Accra will be the most expensive. But all and so that's why when I give you codes, I give you the Accra codes, and then anything outside should be cheaper than that.
Okay. Well, this has been absolutely fantastic. I told you I was going to try to keep it at an hour and a half. So I think I did good. It looks like most of the questions have been answered. I'm going to see if there's any other. But do you want to add anything for the users about how to get in touch with you or how your process works to start building with you, start getting a quote or like how things work, basically, is what I'm trying to say for your company.
So if you're thinking about building in Ghana, so you can reach us at Royal Consulting Solutions. So and how we like to approach it is that you come in this education process because this is new for most of us. So we want to educate you and let you know what it is that you're about to engage in. So, and we believe consultation, which we believe is very, very important because we get to know your needs, right, your concerns, and everything that we can come up with a strategy because everybody's unique with their own situation, right? So you can't just put one advice over there for everybody. And so once we understand that and your financial situation, that we can say, okay, maybe we can do X, Y, Z, and that kind of stuff, we take it from there. So another thing too is our building guidelines. It's a big deal because even if you don't use us, you can look at those things and then you can really really gauge whether the person is even know what they are doing because people just be building all over like out of sequence and all kinds of stuff. It's crazy, right? So and trust me, it end up costing you more because a lot of and Sister Kelly, I'll tell you, some of the things people do over there don't make any sense, you know, and stuff
Right.
like that. But they've been doing them because that's what everybody does them, right? So look at those things. And so don't be afraid when we say come to consultation because I have never had anybody done a consultation that say it was a waste of my time because we tell you stuff we can't put on public, right? We let you know what we can do, what we can do, how we can help you, and stuff like that, and how we can make that dream, whether it's feasible, what is not feasible, whether downsize or maybe for a little bit more money, a little bit, maybe get another bedroom because it's not like the labor is going to increase or that kind of stuff. So we get in depth to understand your needs because if we don't know your needs, we can't really help you, right? And stuff like that. So that is our approach, our approach because we want to deliver something that you're gonna be happy with. Everything we do, I build to my standard. Like it is my own property and stuff like that. So we
But
can
you're
help
also
you.
offering customer service. The customer service is important because you don't really get that here, and so that is invaluable. Having that ability to have that professionalism. I just want to throw that in because I'm living in Ghana, and I tell you,
Yes,
customer
yes,
service does not exist.
yes. And we have. So what I do is like every questions I get through the email through the business, within 24 hours you get a response. Because I care about what you think, and I respect your time and stuff like that. So at least I'll give you the information over there because it's very important because I know how I started. I've done this thing right. When I started, there was nothing like that for me. It would have helped me a lot, saved me money, all that stuff. And so, you know, my goal is to make that dream a reality for you. And I know we can do it. I have no doubt that we can do it. And so reach out to us, reach out to Sister Kalia. It's like um I'm very particular who I come on their platform, and stuff like that because
Yes, you
uh,
are.
I don't accept a lot of things, and I think that we got to do authentically. This is a foundation of love. I can tell you. What we doing is love. We put out with all kinds of stuff, but at the end, we love our people, and so I would say that we believe in what we're doing and we can genuinely and I interested in helping you execute your plan.
All right, that is fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us tonight on Mother's Day. This is like the Mother's Day special for all the ladies who want to build in Ghana. Yay!
Happy Mother's Day, ladies. The world will not exist without you, so we appreciate you.
Awesome. Well, you have a good evening. Thank you so much for joining us. All of you in the live chat, all of you who stayed for this entire interview, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I appreciate the super chats and for the great questions. You guys have a good evening and happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there.
Thank you for
Bye.
that opportunity. Bye.